Good evening, everyone. This is the Town of Sheldon Selectboard Water Commissioner meeting for Monday, March 24th of 2025, held here at the town office. On the agenda for new business, we have a Highway Department report, Town Administrator's report, Forest Fire Warden appointment, Municipal Planning Grant application. We need to go into executive session for annual evaluation of employees. We need to sign or approve the March 10th regular and organizational meeting minutes, March 12th special meeting minutes, March 21st special meeting minutes. Got payroll warrants to sign, accounts payable warrants to sign, excess weight permits to sign. Under old business, we need to sign the March 3rd meeting minutes. And is there anything else we need to add to tonight's agenda? All right, we will jump right into the highway department. How things going?
Good. We're right on the budget with salt this year, same as the last few years. There's enough to get us by for another few small storms if the weather's cold enough and we need to use some salt. Today we filled some potholes with some coal patch. There was like a 3-ton minimum that we had to buy, so it was basically a truck full. We didn't use that much compared to years in the past where we almost used like a whole truckload just on like Sheldon Town Road. So that was kind of nice. But we can save it for down the road.
Yep.
We took the broom apart today and put some brushes on it. Put it back together tomorrow. So we'll have that ready when time comes. There's a bunch of landscaping and stuff to do around Sheldon Heights, like usual. A few turnaround spots, but it wasn't really that bad. So probably just wait till the worm dries out a little bit and we'll hit that with some seed topsoil if needed. We've been hauling some Blackstone before our pylon thawed. It was pretty frozen, so Swan was the only one that was open, so we had to go down there and get a few loads off them and bring it up to Cattell and Duffy Hill. But from here on out, we can use the material out of the pile. I took the grader out 2 different days last week, Wednesday and Thursday, when the sun was out, and just straight bladed over the worst spots. It seemed to smooth it out pretty good.
Yeah.
We went around and picked up some of the bigger trash. There's a bunch of tires and stuff like usual. Probably wait till the weather warms up a little bit and we'll go spend a few days here and there picking up trash and stuff. It probably usually always happens before green up day. Usually seems like green up day is almost like 2 weeks too far ahead and everything starts growing and you don't see it all, but we worked on a few signs and stuff. There was a few missing signs this year, and accidents and whatnot, and we replaced a few posts already. Just in general, it seems like there was a lot of sign damage this winter. But we got that all. It's not applied 100%. We'll go back through and fine tune it there once the weather breaks a little bit. We're gonna go around and probably clean out some, once the shoulders harden up, we'll probably go around the backhoe and clean out some of the upstreams of the culverts where they're like, plugged up in their rate or whatever. I have a few in mind, and there's always a few more out there. And all the trucks need oil changes, the backhoe. I made a quick list of some the miles and hours if you want to hear them real quick. The Western Star, the 2015 Western Star, 61,525 miles, 4,012 engine hours. The 2018 checks, 94,000 miles, 400 72, 4,600 engine hours. 2021 is 40,474 miles, 2,300 engine hours. And the Ford is, the 2023 is 18,285 miles and 897 engine hours already. The two new garage doors are gonna be coming next Wednesday, the 2nd of April. They have them in stock, so I kinda said May, but I guess that part of the building's not heated anyway, so we can shut it off and they can kinda put them up anytime anyway, so.
Yeah.
I was thinking we might need some new flags this year for around town underneath the streetlights. They were kind of tattered and torn, and we surrendered them to the VFW last fall. So we can try to work some at some point. I still want to do like I was talking about Friday there, grading around the bank out of between Bridge and Pleasant. I just got to get the church's permission first, the written permission. And there's some shoulders I want to take out off Pleasant Street. I'm not sure I could do it with a grader, or if not, I'll have to do it with backhoe, but you do it early while it's still kind of in the rainy season so we can get some grass growing on the folks' lawns. And then of course there's oil changes to the trucks on the back. Pretty much everything is oil changes. It's not overdue yet by any means, but we usually do it after a hard winter like this winter. Then
Yeah. How many hours is on the backhoe now?
it was like 2,400 and change last time I looked. I checked today.
Yeah. You got tires coming for that?
Yeah, we can probably just wait till the fall, more toward the fall.
Oh,
The more, you know, it gets run around quite often in the summer, so
Yeah.
usually we'll get some before the fall comes. So I'm not wearing off the tires.
Have you had a chance to look at that project that Tom Callan wants to? Have you heard about it?
Oh, I heard about it, yeah. My only concern is, I mean, it runs water right now, it's not probably won't be a big project to replace that culvert, it's not that big of one, it's like an 18-inch culvert, I believe, or maybe 15.
Yeah.
The only concern I have is with the neighbor's driveway, if he wants to raise the road up right there.
Yeah, well, that's what I was wondering, if it was gonna affect that driveway at all.
It'll definitely give it like a lift to drive up on, I don't know, like that much, but.
Where's this?
On Hill Street there next to the store.
The store there, Tom wanted to know about leveling that up a little more where you approach the.
The thing is, there's blacktop on the first 25 feet of it though.
Yeah.
We'd have to almost bury the blacktop.
But he also has a water line issue.
Yeah,
Too
you
small.
want to upgrade the line,
Yeah.
which would have to be bored.
Water
So
line
that'd be a little bit of
on
a
the other
costly.
side.
It's like, usually I haven't got a quote yet, but the last time I got a quote for boarding just up the road at Joe's place, it was like $2,500.
Yeah, after our last meeting, David Paluda stopped and talked to me one day, and he seemed to recall that the town had, when he first started with the town, they did some work. I don't know if that's the last time the culvert was replaced, or he seemed to recall doing some work down there, and he thought the line was bigger than that. But I mean, Tom lives in the house, and he says he doesn't get enough. If he turns on the water and his neighbor turns on the water, and they don't have any water, then
Yeah,
sounds like the line's not that big, so.
Yeah.
I don't know, it might be worth doing a test hole to see how big that line is before we dig the whole thing up, but
Yeah.
I do know that the curb stop on the other side the shut off valve for that whole line is on the other side of the street in front of Johnson's, and I think broken, right, or it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we need to fix that at least.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the problem.
You know,
Maybe the valve's not.
Could possibly be
Maybe the valve's not.
opening all the way.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But there was a difference of opinion between David and Hubert and Tom about what exactly is underground over there, and I don't know. Anyway, just
Well,
maybe.
what was there, he must have hooked onto it and,
Yeah, you guys went over there
What
and
was
dug
it?
it up there in the fall.
Yeah,
I can't remember what.
he dug it up and yeah, we put the curb stop in. We put the shut off right there at his driveway.
And it was only.
How big
half
was
inch,
the pipe?
right,
Yeah,
right. But,
how big was that pipe?
it was like half an inch.
Oh, it's just that, so it probably is too small. Then.
Yeah.
All the way over there.
Cause I mean, at the time, there was just that old abandoned house there.
Yeah,
And the trailer was the only thing that was there. And maybe in future, he wants to build another house behind his.
yeah, that's what he said, he
Yeah.
thought it'd probably be another house in there too, so we probably should upsize that.
Something, yeah. How many feet is that? The upgraded line from Bridge Street over?
On the other side of Bridge Street.
Well. There's a distance you can do without, I wanna say, there's a distance you can do so many feet without a,
getting a permit and all that.
yeah. I wanna say that,
Hubert would know that, so
exactly.
coordinate with him, I guess.
I think it's only about 350, 400 feet to that house. So,
Yeah, it's just, just something to look into,
Yeah.
really.
What else you got? How about you got the lawnmower coming?
Yeah, I got
Grass.
a few quotes, they're expensive, with a municipality discount on both of them. For the same one we have now is like, 12,300. And then for the Ferris was like 10,000. And change.
so unfortunately, that one that we had found used, they had sold it only
Yeah,
a
that's
couple
what you
days before we
said.
called. But I didn't know there's a service that some other towns use that I don't think we're signed up with, called Sourcewell. It's kind of a municipal consortium or whatever, and there are apparently some advantages to doing that, where it's like a group purchasing thing or something like that, where you can get lower pricing because of that. And one of the things you can purchase through that is equipment like lawnmowers and stuff like that. So I've been thinking about having the town sign up for that. There's no cost to it as far as I know. It's just sort of a club.
So make it like a timeshare sort of situation?
I think it's sort of like a Sam's Club for municipalities, kind of, or something like that. That's sort of the idea. But I'd have to look at the contract for it, but I don't think there's any cost to it for the town. A lot of other towns do that,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure if that's really gonna lead us to a better deal on a lawnmower or not, but it's just something we can consider for a lot of different purchases that we do. Was it in Derby that you got that first quote? That might be a
Yeah.
good place to go back to and see what they're,
Yeah,
I don't know if the prices have been affected by the tariff situation or not, but that's quite a lot higher than the quotes we were looking at in December, so. But it's also getting closer to spring, so maybe they're,
Yeah,
And that's the identical lawnmower that you have.
yeah,
Oh, you had, how long, we've had that? 6?
yeah, it's been like 8 years,
6 or 8 years.
yeah,
Probably paid 8,000-9,000 for it.
right,
Yeah, now it's 3 more.
yeah.
But the model is the model changed at all?
Not on that one, I don't believe, same motor, same deck, same size deck.
Price it out of New York.
I haven't,
Kubota dealer there.
Yeah.
The Dragon,
yeah, a long time. Yeah.
maybe?
I didn't even bother to get a quote on a green one, you know?
Yeah. No, but it would be nice, what you're thinking is like the same mower, you're familiar with it, and
Yeah.
it drives the same, and everything else.
Yeah.
You could get a quote on a green, don't know.
Yeah.
No one would fault you for that. But it'd be interesting to see what the dealership across the lake
Supposed to
is.
have two per
Yeah.
purchasing
Oh,
policy.
well.
More is better.
Cause they're,
No, besides the
I
ass.
believe they're a board deal.
Really?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I know they got one from there. And they said that they saved a few grand.
So,
And then there's, of course, the salt shed we could probably start dismantling in the month of April, you know, during our other projects,
yeah,
if that's okay with you guys.
yeah.
Maybe we gotta get over there in April.
If we take it down, we'll have to put something else back up.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Do you have a plan for what to do with the salt? If it was in-
I think we're gonna wait just for a few more weeks till that warms up anyway, and if we get a few more storms, we're gonna use a few more scoops, and I think,
To make it, instead of to bring it in for it, you could just make a place for it in
well, yeah, I was thinking too, just bury it underneath the sand pile, and we'll dig it up next year.
the. Yeah.
Use it as a mix, use it as a mix,
That's right.
yeah.
It'll be right there.
What's
Yeah.
the sand pile look like this year? To take a beating?
Yeah, definitely a lot more than last year.
Yeah.
We kind of been pushing it around and pushing it up, so the more you kind of do that, the less you look, it kind of looks like we took out of it, but it took a hit.
Just,
We used it a bit.
we didn't run out.
Yeah.
I would dare to say, you know, we probably use like 1,500 yards probably, like 1,200 yards or so.
Yeah.
I would think we need to bring it, you know, bring it up to like it was in the past. I mean, we could probably write it out and use that money for something else. I think we spent like $6,400 last year on sand, so that wasn't a huge amount. So maybe even just half of that.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea, just bury it in the sand. pile.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
It's not gonna go anywhere.
No. There's only gonna be a few scoops by the end of the day anyway.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, well, yeah, they'll come over and look at the site. And decide on the location of the, try to pin down a location, the pros and cons of where it is, and
Yep.
if there's any, you know, advantage to making it, or building it in a different location, and so on and so forth. I thought about, I was thinking that maybe in the future there, we should maybe think about building a fence around our property over there.
Yeah,
And then you could actually have a gate on the road.
yeah, yeah,
So when you get done at night, you'd have a gate to shut.
yeah,
That might not be a bad,
yeah,
I mean, something to think about.
okay.
Then no one's in your yard,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah,
In the yard, stealing fuel.
Doing something, yeah. It would just make it a little bit less handy.
yeah,
And a little not quite so handy for you
yeah,
to work.
yeah.
But
On the side of remote.
there you go, yeah.
Keep it-
But I'm just thinking there that it might be, you know, it might be thought for the board to think about.
Yeah,
Put a fence around the perimeter there and
yeah,
you know where that way, if we do go over and define the property, might be like a good time to put a fence up,
right.
or at least think about it. Anyway.
Seth and I took a trip around last week, to look at the roads for cause the town highway grant program's coming up. I talked to, John Wilkin, who's, kind of our contact for that out in District 8 at V-Trans. And so I had requested a hydraulic study for that culvert on Cook Road that we were targeting as the next one to replace. He got me the results of that finally last week. Unfortunately, it kind of says you need to do more study when you it basically says hire an engineer to do a bigger study and when they do the structural design, sort of. So I had talked to Tyler Billingsley at East Engineering, who did the Heel Road culvert for us.
Yeah.
And he said he'd be interested in another project like that. So I haven't quite reached out to him. Hopefully he'll help us with at least getting a grant package together. I think that culvert's probably gonna end up being quite like the Heel Road culvert in terms of how big it is and how much it's gonna cost, in which case, it's kind of the cost of it's gonna exceed what's available with the grant, I think.
Yeah.
I think as an initial step, we might apply for a grant just for the engineering for this year, just to get that done. And I asked, John Wilkin if we might wanna consider, we have some other culverts that are gonna need to be done. The one on East Sheldon next to Alfred Reed's house, that's one that's bigger, and NRPC, when they did their survey, thought that one needed replacing. And when Seth and I took our trip around, there's a couple other older culverts that are, they're okay, they just need some, they got bad, broken wing walls or things like that, so, but they're old, like the one on the Bergeron Road, that's like 100 years old, so, I don't know if, anyway, I asked John, and I haven't got a response, he said he'd look into it for me, and I didn't know if we could combine all of those all of those projects to just get engineering done on all of these bigger culvert structures, and then whichever one we wanna do as a grant, if we have all the engineering done, then if we wanna do a grant, we can just pull that off the shelf and do it, or, we have all that in hand. So I'm gonna see how many of those, the way the grant is written, it kinda makes it seems like they want you to pick one road, one structure, or whatever, so I don't know if you can roll in multiple things like that into one thing, but we'll see what we can do.
Okay.
And if we can only do one structure, we'll probably do that Cook Road one, just cause, like I said, that's gonna, I don't think the grant is big enough. The grant's certainly not big enough to cover the engineering and the building in one grant, so we should try to get multiple ones, I think.
Yep.
And then we also just looked at, the other grant program they have is for class 2 paving. Obviously, we just got that last year, so I don't think we'll be high on the list this year, but, I think, looking at the paving generally, it's mostly the smaller streets near Sheldon Junction that we think, are most broken up, the Daniel Road and, Clark Road. A part of, kind of the middle part of Sheldon Heights, there's a couple areas up there that we could consider doing. And then the Macy Road, or not the Macy Road, the Maury Road from where it turns to Blacktop to the Highgate line, structure road. But none of those are class 2 roads, so they don't qualify. So that's what we'd be looking at for our town highway funding.
Yeah.
But for the grant project, I think the place I would recommend is probably from the end, from Pleasant Street up East Sheldon's Road, probably to about Danny Lushier's house, I think. We did do a top coat on Pleasant Street 4 or 5 years ago, but that's starting to break up a little bit. And then from the bottom of Crow Hill up, that is the rough part of it. But I mean, there's other sections of the road we could consider, but that's just my opinion of driving around. But we have some time until, it's April 15th is when the grants have to be put in, and like I said, we just got it last year, so I'm not counting on us getting it again this year, but we should put something in.
Yeah, you need to apply them.
Yeah. So, and then the other, depending on how far, I'm not sure what asphalt's gonna go for this year, obviously. That's gonna determine how much we can do with how much we budgeted, so, I mean, what I think Seth and I would both like to do is consider it part of either Cattell Road or Duffy Hill and see if we could get one course of pavement put on part of those roads, just because that's where most of our class 3 money is going right now in terms of stone every year, so. But in either case, that would probably take some additional work, putting the road fabric down and some prep work, but all the culverts on those roads are changed, so.
How far is that stretch from Duffy Hill there where Enosburg ends the pavement to like the St.
It's like
Pierre
one
Road?
point, we went from 2 miles, from St. Pierre to Eastbrook's line.
1.2.
Yeah.
What about from Willards to the corner of Swamp Road? Don't say anything.
Less than.
Yeah, it's like a 0.8.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen that road right. Up from Willards up to the corner, and I don't know what you do to that. I mean, I've never, that's like the worst stretch of dirt road I give it. Always get
Yeah,
it all nice, and then it just like,
yeah,
it just turns into, what is that? How come that is, huh?
yeah.
You know what I mean? You know what I'm
Yeah.
talking, of course you know what I'm talking about. That is really a pothole prone.
Yeah. It'd be nice to, do the 4 corners, cause it's easier to grade up to,
Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
keep the pebbles and stuff off the pavement.
yeah, with
It's
the,
easier to grade off a straight, edge than,
yeah,
cause those aren't true 4 corners, they're,
Swamp Road's a little further north.
Yeah.
right.
they're like a roads width
You
difference.
spend a lot of time there,
Yeah.
turning around, going this way and that way.
Yeah. Kinda gotta make the bend in there.
It's about 3,500 feet from there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how much work think it'd be to extend that Swamp Road down to like Roddy's driveway?
I think it'd be a lot of work. Just the
not
fact
wide
of,
enough.
in general, it'd be easy, but, that road's got 10-foot ditches on both sides of the road. And it's really narrow, you know, basically it's a 1 lane. It's like a lane and a half right now.
And it's hard, you can't widen the left side because of the telephone pole.
Right.
There.
Yeah,
That right side, that ditch is, like I said,
Yeah.
it's pretty big.
it is. The whole there.
Getting quite a few houses down in there though, that's the only
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Just
That would be
St. Pierre's gonna do a
Yeah,
couple
that was
more.
the
He's
talk
got
about-
one.
It would take some doing,
They take an outside contractor. Probably.
probably. It wouldn't be easy. It'd take a lot of fill, like a lot of material.
Well, I think you could just knock that down, widen it out.
Possibly.
No, just saying.
It's got a decent base under it, it's
Yeah.
just that those ditches are deep.
Yeah. Except for there's like a legend of it, say by Tony Church, just above Tony's driveway.
So you can knock it down too much there.
Yeah, I don't know what happened right there.
That's an issue up there.
Well, there's getting to be more houses, cause, you know, Pete built his up there, and, you know, St. Pierre's got one, and he's got 2 more going in, I guess. So that makes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it'd be 7 houses on that little stretch.
Yeah, and they like to ride the roads.
You know, and, yeah, and,
Yeah.
right now, I think Roddy's maintaining it, but,
Yeah.
you know, it's,
He's gonna get exhausted.
well, you know,
Yeah.
you get too many people on the same road and only one or two people are maintaining it, you're gonna have arguments or something. I just thought it might be easier to turn that back and call into class 3 there.
Yeah. The whole way right to the down to the bottom or to Tony's driveway?
Well,
You're calling it class 4 now? Is that what's
Class
that's
4.
what
It's
it is?
class 4 from the,
to see that
Turnaround.
when Churchill's started developing in there, they told them it was private, there was their own private drive, but that class 4 road was never, that's always been a class 4 road down through there.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
According to the map and
Technically, it's
stuff,
class-
And so then,
Is that what it
Yeah.
says on the map?
yeah,
and so then, you know, it's, now there's been more development going on down there.
Yeah.
Anyways,
That's a
we can look at it, but,
I mean, it all depends how far you wanna go. The whole thing would be a project.
how wide's it gotta be for class 3?
Yeah, 22.
I think it's, I have to look at the road standards, but,
Yeah.
yeah, so 50-foot right of way, and
Yeah.
yeah, 24 or 28 feet somewhere in there, I can't remember.
Yeah. It's usually 22 with a shoulder.
Yeah.
The paved roads are.
Does the amount of houses on that road dictate that we would be obligated to widen the road and then have the telephone poles moved if they're possible? Or at what point does the development mean that the town has to, it has to be a wider road and we have to do these things before it's just something we undertake?
It's,
Or is it strictly off the class road period?
yeah, I mean, it's, the road is what it is, I guess, it's class 4, but, you know, the development stuff there, you know, anybody doing a development over 3 houses, you're supposed to bring it up to town standards.
Right, if it's a private road, yeah, right.
Yeah. But if it, you know, if it was ever to be taken over by the town, it has to be,
The class 4, class 3 difference is really how much the town maintains it. So if
right,
it's class 4, the town is only obligated to take care of it one season a year.
Yeah.
And if it's a class 3, then we have to maintain it all 4 seasons, yeah.
So where it gets to 1.5 lanes, that's on the private side.
But it's not maintained after the turnaround, right?
No.
Well,
yeah, I don't know, I just, you start getting too many, it's just like these housing developments, they don't have a homeowners association that takes care of the, you know, road, you get one guy that takes care of the first half till it gets to his house, and then, or they expect the guy past them to maintain the whole thing so they can get out, and, but anyway.
I should want to look at it.
Yeah.
And then, you know, there might be a guy up there who can straighten that all out for us.
Yeah, maybe, you know, just a thought, there's no criticism.
Yeah.
But I would just say, if we did see something like that, I think it'd be hiring a contractor to
Right.
go there and move a bunch of dirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other projects you guys can think of that you just want
Projects.
for the spring?
Just try to figure out a turnaround on Bernard.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
If
turn around
possible.
on Bernard Road too,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. We can take the plows off.
Yeah.
I don't know, but no, yeah. Well, unless Mother Nature comes up with something.
Right, exactly.
She has a way of doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One that I know this week, Wednesday, the mill is gonna do that overhead wire. So we've been talking to them pretty steadily, and we're gonna, the highway's gonna bring some signs over there and close the road in the morning and move them over for them. Should be we got them to see it our way in terms of we think that it'd be better to close boarding house first in the morning and then close Shawville in the afternoon as opposed to.
Yeah.
So that, and obviously most of the mill's gonna know when to, and then when we close Shawville, boarding house should technically be, could be used as a detour for any of the smaller traffic if they
Yep.
want to, so hopefully that'll go well.
Should be.
What's the wire?
They're putting up fiber optic
Oh.
between,
The contractor, the same ones are running around everywhere you.
I don't know if it's the same ones or different ones, but yeah. Well,
Yep.
these guys apparently care more about safety than the other people, I think. 'Cause those other people are going around, no flags, nothing, just, yeah.
They had a flagger out today.
Did they? Okay.
One spot.
Mind if I take a vacation week, the 20th of April, school vacation?
No. It should be fine. Hopefully it's done snowing by then.
Yeah.
Get the boys a list of things to do.
Yeah,
Keep them
well,
busy.
it's ironed out, in rainy days, and, yeah.
When are you gonna go home full time?
Right.
Yeah. Vacation, home and tax.
I'll be far away from that.
No, that should be good. You guys all stocked up on comp time for the winter? You get-
Yeah, we're good. Yeah, I've used a little bit of mine already.
You gotta remind those other guys to take some time off when the weather's right there.
Yeah,
Burn
I
up
think
some of
that's
that vacation time.
yeah, I think that's
Comp
clear.
time and stuff.
Yeah.
With a 3-man crew, it should be good. You get
Yeah.
one guy off, you can still get a lot done.
Yeah,
when you
definitely.
do, and
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Thanks,
What you got for us, Matt?
Okay, well, besides as I mentioned, I've been working on the, highway grant there. We've been out, Justin and Danielle and I, in different combinations have been out. Justin and I went out last Wednesday and he and Danielle went out on Friday. And so just getting the spring inspections done re-inspections done for any of the houses that weren't all the way done last fall.
Yep.
And we burned through quite a few of them, so, I think we only need 2 more days probably to get all the properties that we know, up to date. And, so I'm feeling pretty good about that. We did get we received one, proposal already for the reappraisal bid that we put out. I haven't had time to look at it, but I know we received it. So, actually, I should let you know, Steve, that probably on Wednesday, we're gonna come look at your barn again, because I
Okay.
think, anyway, just Wednesday morning. Let's see, what else? So, obviously, Jane's continuing to, learn, how to do her position or whatever. She and I have had some discussion that I'll probably bring up with you when we discuss, my review here, in terms of what different ways we could divide up the work than we've been doing so far. It's up to you guys how you'd like to do that, but, I think with respect to I had mentioned last year as we went through the, personnel policy review that, there were some areas of the HR policy that I probably should have been taking a closer look at over the last year, and maybe it would be better for me to be handling that since it's the select board's policy. And, well, mostly, and then also with regard to, negotiating or managing contracts for, different health insurance and different things. I don't know, by default, Kim was doing all those things because she was the person who was here to do that. And so I didn't know if maybe with Jane having to take over all those accounts or whatever, she and I have been discussing, well, maybe there's some of those things that I should be doing. And instead of her, in terms of not, she would still be the person paying the bills,
Right, yeah.
but maybe I'd be the person who's, in there inputting the new employees or change, if somebody wants to make a change to their policy. I'm handling that instead of her doing that. So we can discuss that in the employee review. I'd like to talk a little bit about the municipal planning grant again. Unfortunately, the planning board has not been able to get a quorum together to do their meeting, so I was hoping to get some direction from them on what they wanted to do. I brought this up before, that this year there's gonna be 2 rounds of grants for that program. There usually is one in the fall, but they kind of kicked last year's to this spring for some reason, so. And what I had looked at was, I was just thinking about the plan, what planning, projects we might have in Sheldon. And obviously the planning commission and people in general have been interested in more, something we can do for traffic safety, whether that's, obviously the board's been focused on, getting more and better enforcement, I think, primarily, but there are some other things. People have ideas about different, countermeasures we can use, whether that's, radar feedback signs, more signs, paint markings, speed bumps, et cetera, something we can do with roadway design to mitigate some of those problems. Particularly, we obviously get more complaints in the village areas and some of the more residential rural areas, for lack of a better term, is where we tend to get the complaints. So that's one thing I was considering looking at. And then the other thing where I perceive that we have a need for planning is with regard to our water and sewer infrastructure, and also somewhat on the highway side, where if we're going to be doing, what I think we need to do is have an accounting of what the current state of our water and sewer infrastructure, and a plan for how much that's going to cost to replace over time. And then if we get that sort of asset management plan together, we can use that to create a more stable and long-term water and sewer rates, I think, to take account, to make it sure that the user rates are going to pay for those future replacements. And so those to me, those are the most critical things that the town needs planning for, I think. Secondarily, the state, as I said, is in the middle of this redevelopment of Act 250, where they want to try to create housing policy, try to promote housing in village areas, and particularly places where there is water and sewer service already. And with the state moving in that direction, and also with the 2 villages that we have having village designation, and those village designations being sort of a pathway to more grant funding for projects in those areas, I had thought that maybe a thing to consider would be village-specific planning for the springs and for the creek, so that you could have kind of a comprehensive plan that included all these, traffic, safety, some bicycle pedestrian planning. We've already done some of that, but water and sewer planning and there are other areas that we have there. We have municipal property, parks, forests, things. There's municipal assets that we could be planning for in those areas. And I noticed that Sheldon Town just got this grant last year, and they're working on a very similar project for St. Albans Bay Village that basically has those elements in it. Where they don't have a sewer there, but they'd like to either extend the city sewer down there or come up with an alternative sewer plan, whether that's an actual wastewater system or some sort of communal septic system kind of things. Like there's a project like that going on in Highgate where they're going to have a large development with basically a gigantic shared septic. Anyway, that's one avenue I would consider, would be a village-specific plan. The drawbacks to that is that right now, I think the needs in Sheldon Springs are more on the infrastructure side in terms of and there's less we can do about that the town can do specifically about traffic safety down there since the state highway runs through it. And meanwhile, in the village here, the water system's in pretty good shape in Sheldon Creek. We don't have a sewer here, but we do have some more traffic concerns in the village here. So the thing I hear the most comment from residents about and from people on the plan commission tends to be complaints about traffic and pedestrian safety. But, as I look at the town and what the problems that the select board and the town are gonna face, I think it's more on the infrastructure personally, but anyway, so the town has an option to pursue this planning grant, which I think is it's up to $40,000, but it would be a 10% match for the town. As I said, there'd be 2 rounds this year. And so we could either do a place specific, so we pick one village and try to do, a comprehensive plan for it, or we could pick 1 or 2 issues and try to do planning for the whole, community for those issues. So, what I was gonna propose that to the planning commission, assuming that they would probably favor, a more comprehensive traffic study. We've already done some pedestrian and bicycle planning in the last 5 years, but I think that would sort of dovetail with the planning that had already been done, and would address the need that we hear the most about. And it would have some, as I said, the issues in the springs, we'd have to negotiate with the state and school with regard to a lot of those. So it would be, the town wouldn't be, 100% in the driving seat in terms of implementing those, but, so that's what I figured the planning commission would favor, except for that they didn't have a meeting, so I'm not. Anyway, this, NRPC has reached out and they're willing to help me put an application together, and if the town is successful. Sheldon is a rural town, so our population is low enough that we can rely on regional planning to kind of be the project manager for us if we do it. And I would be looking to them to do that if we were successful. So, I guess what I'm looking for on that is if the select board has a clear preference for what sort of project we should be looking to implement, or whether you think a more village-specific thing is better, place-specific thing, or if it's an issue-specific plan would be better. Do you guys have opinions on that or not?
My opinion, we ought to focus on Sheldon Springs. They're pushing for housing and stuff. That's, there's not a lot of place in the creek here.
Right.
And as far as pedestrian traffic and stuff, there's not. There's a library.
Right, yeah.
But, there's no general store in town. There's no, town hall where people go walk to and there's the park down there but I think the potential for growth for the town of Sheldon is right in Sheldon Springs. Whether you get a grant, figure out infrastructure for water and sewer to places.
Yeah, that's the infrastructure down there is, it's old.
And you know, if we're gonna do, some sewer line upgrades there, I mean, that might be the time to widen out the road there for bike and pedestrian traffic to get up toward, you know, up toward the intersection of 105 there. You're already tearing things up, but
When's the last time that we did adjust the sewer rates?
We did the water rates in 2018.
we did the water rates when we did the new system, but I don't think
You don't know?
we kept saying we wanted to, get those meters up to snuff so we
Yeah, yeah.
could figure out to adjust the sewer rates according to the water use.
We don't wanna talk about the meters.
And then we never did because we had so much trouble with the meters.
Right.
But I think now, you know, I think now things have stabilized with the meters and we've upgraded the meters, that now's the time to look at that. That sewer bill and according to the water usage,
Mhm.
you know, that's how most places do it.
Right. But we only have a handful of people who have sewer but don't have water. There's less than 5 addresses, I think, who don't have municipal water. And they probably would if, you know, it wouldn't take very much for them to get municipal water in most cases.
Wow.
So, yeah.
The sewer rates haven't been adjusted, or both water and sewer haven't been adjusted, they should be looked at this year at some point. We're gonna solve that tonight, right?
No, but
That's,
You know, and if we can identify that housing need and there's willingness to do some, you know, some building in there, there's a few different places in Sheldon Springs, there's quite a lot of property that you'd think there'd be some grants available to extend sewer lines and water lines to these projects.
yeah, and that's the other thing is that right now we don't, our sewer policy, as far as I can tell, contemplates, you know, if one person adds a house and they wanna have a sewer service line put to their house, it talks about that, but if they wanna put 25 houses and,
Right.
you know, you wanna add 100 feet to the service, the whole service line, or not the service line, but the main line, there's nothing in our policy to talk about how to do that, and so
Yeah,
that's another critical need that we have, is to develop a policy so that if somebody wants to develop, it's not a who's gonna jump first situation between the town and the developer.
Yeah.
So, well, if that's your preference, then yeah, that
well,
makes total
that's
sense
just
to
my
me.
opinion,
Yeah,
but I don't, you know, what these guys think.
sure.
It seems to me that our current water, I know water and sewer rate is not a fun, thing for people to discuss. It's, you know, it's pretty fractious, but it seems like what our policy in the past has been to design it to how much people have usually used. But I think what we need to adjust, I think the way that we should think for going forward is trying to make it so that the users are covering the true cost of keeping the system upgraded over time. And I'm not sure that that's what I don't think our current policy is doing that. Our sewer system's not, the sewer rates are not really paying for the maintenance of the sewer system right now. Okay.
Yep, I think that's the direction we should.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. And then, well, as I said, there are multiple, I mean, these grants come up every year and there's gonna be 2 this year. So it's saying you wanna pursue one now doesn't mean you're not gonna do another project later, you know.
Right, yeah.
So, and I think both areas would benefit from, you know, grant. I think at one point, Hubert told me that several years ago there was some sort of initial study for a sewer system here in the village. And depending on what happens over the next, whoever knows how many years, it may come time for people to discuss that, so.
Yeah,
It would be good to have that on, you know, in a village plan, so that if that select board then wants to implement something, they've got something to go for.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, that's what I've got for you so far.
alright, so we need to do do, forest fire warden appointment.
There's a form for that. In the box,
The warden now is Rick.
It is,
Yeah.
yeah, that's it right there, yeah.
He's a fire expert.
You looking for another job?
Already got it.
You already got it. Alright,
I believe this is a thing that you do in conjunction with the health department, with the division of
Fire safety.
fire safety. So the select board would be recommending Rick, and then they would make the
Right.
or recommending that we retain Rick, essentially.
Do we need a motion for that?
I think that would be a good idea.
I'll make a motion to recommend Rick Piasny for the forest
Second.
fire warden.
Second.
alright, all in favor?
Aye.
That's done.
So, we have to sign this, Matt?
I think so.
Pass that around,
Everybody
sign.
got
And that's
signed?
a 5-year term on that.
Jumping frogs. Yeah, everybody's got to sign that.
Well, he'd do it for 10 years.
Oh,
Now, is there something we need to sign for that municipal?
Yes, I
thing?
left it in the other room, I'll be right back, sorry.
Oh, okay.
looks like Rick's gonna have to sign this twice.
I'll start reading some minutes. We might as well start signing stuff too. Got that. Yeah, oh,
We're gonna do all these minutes.
we're gonna do the fleet permits there.
Oh, sure.
I'll start reading the minutes.
Seen it, or-
Alright, we got, meeting minutes from March 3rd. Town of Sheldon Water, Select Board and Water Commissioner Special Meeting Minutes located here at the town office. In attendance from the Select Board was Stephen Dodd, Seth Hungerford, Nick Norris, Richard Piasny, and Greg Stebbins. Others here was Matt Stebbins, Town Administrator, and Jerry Vasey from Northwest Access TV. 7:40, I called the meeting to order and read the agenda. Added to the agenda was the signature for the Better Roads Grant Agreement. At 7:41, the board took up the draft request for bids for roadside mowing. The language is largely the same as last year. Matt asked the board if the board would like to consider asking for a multi-year bid. After discussion, the board agreed the bids could be submitted for a contract length of up to 3 years at the discretion of the contractor. Board took up the tax mapping proposal. Matt explained that as part of the budgeting process, he had reached out to CAI Technologies for a budget figure for tax mapping. They submitted a full proposal with costs spread across 2 years per the town's purchasing policy. Matt will look for a second quote for the same services. 7:59, the board took up Better Roads grant agreement. Matt explained that the grant was to fund a new inventory of town highway road segments to rate them for compliance with the municipal roads general permit. Towns are required to complete the new inventory by 2027. 8:02, Nick made a motion, seconded by Seth, to approve the Better Roads grant agreement, and the motion carried. I signed the agreement on behalf of the board. 8:03, Matt Stebbins gave the town administrator's report discussing upcoming organizational meeting, town clerk position, appointments to be made, annual employment reviews, reappraisal planning, future board meeting guests, including Tim Smith, RHR Smith auditors, and NRPC director Catherine Demetrius. 8:31, the board signed warrants 2509 and 2510. I read the minutes from the February 10th meeting. Rick made the motion, seconded by Seth, to approve the minutes as read, and the motion carried. 8:50, the board took up the proposed mailbox policy. Seth made a motion, seconded by Rick, to adopt the proposed mailbox policy, and the motion carried. 9 o'clock, the board discussed the upcoming town meeting and organizational meeting. 9:08, Rick moved to adjourn the meeting, seconded by Greg, and the motion carried. Take a motion to accept these minutes as read.
I'll make the motion.
Second on that.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? This February 10th one, have they already been approved? We just-
Yes, they have.
Oh,
Sorry, that's a
that's
mistake.
all right. No,
Maybe it should say,
we just need to sign that one.
it might say February 10th by mistake.
I think it is in error.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. Might, should maybe say March.
I think it's just the
Oh,
second
that's the
page
second
continued
page
from
of
the,
the March
from the
10th
March
one?
10th.
Oh, that's that what it is, sorry.
Yeah.
My
Alright,
mistake.
I was wondering why we went back that far. Alright, we got meeting minutes from March 10th of 2025. Select Board Water Commissioner regular meeting held here at the town office. In attendance from the Select Board was Stephen Dodd, Maria Davison, Richard Piazza, Greg Stebbins. Others here were Tom Callan, Matthew Stebbins, our town administrator, and Jerry Vasey from Northwest Access TV. 7:47, I called the meeting to order and read the agenda. Added to the agenda were water meter billing and executive session to discuss town clerk compensation. 7:50, Tom Callan asked the board to replace the culvert on Hill Street and to increase the size of the water line. The line is now a ½ inch and the flow is low if both he and his neighbor use water. Tom asked the board to consider raising the grade of Hill Street at the intersection with Bridge Street. 7:55, the board discussed meeting with R.H.R. Smith and Company the first week of May to discuss the annual audit and meeting to conduct annual employee reviews on March 21st at noon. The March 12th special meeting with the assessor and the town clerk was also discussed. 8:04, Matt Stebbins gave the town administrator's report and with the board discussed reorganization of the town clerk's office, updating bank paperwork, speeding complaint on Hill Road, posting roads for spring weight limits, upcoming property inspections. 8:12, the board discussed billing for two water meters that needed to be replaced after freezing. 8:15, the board signed accounts payable warrant 2511. Steve asked Matt about any follow-up regarding school property. Matt discussed his conversations with the town attorney. Article voted down at town meeting should be reconsidered, or the town and school district could agree on a different conveyance or user agreement that did not involve any conveyance. 8:31, I read the minutes from the annual town meeting. Rick moved to approve the minutes as read, seconded by Greg, and the motion carried. 8:43, Rick moved to adjourn the regular meeting and enter the annual organizational meeting, seconded by Maria Davison, the motion carried. I read the agenda for the organizational meeting, and the board reorganized. Greg nominated Steve as chair of the board, seconded by Rick, the motion carried. Steve nominated Rick as vice chair of the board, seconded by Greg, and the motion carried. 8:48, board designated its regular meeting schedule. Greg moved that the board meet regularly on the second and fourth Mondays of each month at 7:30 here at 1640 Main Street in Sheldon, with any meeting falling on the town holiday postponed to 7:30 the following day. The motion was seconded by Rick and carried with all in favor. 8:50, the board designated posting locations for town notices. Greg moved to designate Sheldon Springs Post Office, Sheldon Mini Mart, Sheldon Stewart Shop, and Sheldon Elementary School as posting locations. Seconded by Rick and motion carried. The board took up authorizing the review and approval of orders outside of meetings. Steve made a motion to authorize the approval of the select board orders outside of duly warned meetings, provided that such orders are reviewed and signed by 3 members of the board. Greg seconded and motion carried. 8:54, the board tabled compliance with Act 133 and Act 171 to a later meeting. 8:58, the board took up appointments to the Planning Commission and Development Review Board. Greg made a motion, seconded by Rick, to appoint the following officers to serve on the Planning Commission and Development Review Board. Nancy West to both bodies for 3 years, Susan Brooks to both bodies for 3 years, Jeff Kane to both bodies for 2 years, Hillary Weed to both bodies for 1 year. Peter West to the Development Review Board only for 2 years. Motion carried with all in favor. 9 o'clock, the board took up appointment of the tree warden and optional officers. Greg moved that the select board as a body continue serving as tree warden, seconded by Rick, the motion carried. Board took up the appointment of Northwest Regional Planning Commission. Greg moved to appoint Matthew Stebbins to the Northwest Regional Planning Commission, seconded by Rick, and the motion carried. Board took up appointment to the NRPC Transportation Advisory Committee. Rick moved to appoint Greg to the Transportation Advisory Committee, seconded by Steve, and the motion carried. Board discussed appointments to the Northwest Rail Trail Council and Northwest Solid Waste Management District, but tabled action to a later meeting. Board took up appointment to the Northwest Communication Union District. Matthew Stebbins will continue to serve this appointment. Steve made a motion to enter executive session to discuss compensation of the town clerk and assistant clerk, seconded by Rick, and the motion carried. And then at 9:03, Greg made a motion, seconded by Rick, to exit executive session and adjourn the meeting, and the motion carried. Take a motion to accept these minutes as read.
Make a motion.
Second on that.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Opposed? And we got a March 12th Select Board Water Commission special meeting minutes. In attendance from the Select Board is Marie Davidson, Stephen Dodd, Richard Piasny, Greg Stebbins. Others here were Dimitri Boldu, Assistant Clerk, Jane Lonzo, the Town Clerk and Treasurer, Justin Mason, the Assessor, Matthew Stebbins, Town Administrator. 11:15, I called the meeting to order and read the agenda. Added to the agenda was a signature of the appointment to the Northwest Communication District Board for annual update of officers, agents. The annual update of officers and agents for the People's Trust Company account. 11:16, Assessor Justin Mason discussed with the board the draft request for proposals for the townwide reappraisal. The board signed the annual update of officers, agents for People's Trust Company, and I signed the Northwest CUD representative appointment form. 11:36, Rick Piasny made a motion, seconded by Greg, to enter executive session to discuss compensation with the town clerk and the assistant clerks, and the motion carried. In executive session, Maria moved to retain the town clerk's compensation at $32 an hour and raise the assistant clerk's compensation to $21 an hour, seconded by Greg, and the motion carried. 12:08, Rick made a motion to exit executive session, seconded by Maria, and the motion carried. Greg made a motion to adjourn the meeting, seconded by Rick, and the motion carried. Take Take a motion to accept these minutes as read.
Make a motion.
Any second on that?
Yep.
All in favor? Opposed? One more here. March 21st of 2025, Select Board Water Commissioner Special Meeting Minutes. In attendance from the Select Board is Maria Davison, Stephen Dodd, Nick Norris, Yasmin, and Greg Stebbins. Others, Hunter Kerouac from our road crew, Seth Patel, our highway foreman, Matthew McRae, our road crew, and Matthew Stebbins, town administrator. 12:15, I called the meeting to order and read the agenda. 12:16, Nick Norris made a motion, seconded by Rick, to enter executive session to discuss annual performance reviews with personnel, and the motion carried. In executive session, Nick made a motion, seconded by Maria Davison, to approve a wage increase of $1 per hour for all highway staff. Motion carried with all in favor. 1:30, Nick moved to exit executive session, seconded by Greg, and the motion carried. And then Maria moved to adjourn the meeting, seconded by Nick, and the motion carried. Take a motion to accept these minutes as read.
Make a motion.
Second on that.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No.
Yeah,
All right, I got through those.
just been in and out of, waiting for paper. All the rest of them got, but this one, so you supposed to say before you get paid, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Sure,
I think they're supposed to,
What?
not supposed to prove until we get paid, right, on these weight permits?
I never had.
Oh, right, yeah, sorry, yeah. I noticed that one didn't
No,
have
we're not
payments.
gonna do it. Some of these,
Hold on.
some of them have the attached, there's only one,
Insurance, yeah.
no. We issued the, it says C reverse side for restrictions. Okay, so this paper, right here is are the restrictions and whatnot, and a lot of these permits don't have
They are,
this.
so,
Take this right here,
Yeah.
this
yeah,
page.
Yeah. Our.
Right, because these here are all gonna go, they're gonna take these back, this is gonna get sent back to the trucker.
Right.
But it should have this paper hooked to it,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying?
Yep. So they know what the
Right.
weight limits are.
Right. The following restrictions apply, list may be attached, so that attachment needs to go with those. If you will, I didn't want, this one here, I didn't,
Yeah.
we'll just hold off
Hold on.
for whatever it is.
Okay. Yeah.
We're getting rich on them anyway.
Some signature page. Nothing to sign in this one.
Oh, there's nothing to sign.
I didn't see one.
Oh. Oh, I'm sorry.
There's one in this.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, okay, we may have to. I'm sorry about that,
There's no
I didn't look through here, I guess.
missing a page?
Well, I don't see the warrant in here. It's got all the other paperwork. What you're supposed to sign. Okay.
Minutes. Hours, I knew. We're not gonna have that on the desk. Huh?
Okay.
Okay. What do we got here? And you got the date when the town meeting was, right? On the record. Was there 4?
Yeah, it's a whole lot of money for you, so lots can happen.
Okay, so then here goes to the. Okay, go.
This is the resolution form for that grant.
Okay.
I filled out part of it, although there's some other things that might need to be. So you need to designate people for certain jobs.
Municipal plans grant. Whereas municipality of the town of Sheldon is applying for funding as provided for in fiscal year 25 budget act and may receive an award of funds under such provisions. And whereas Department of Housing and Community Development may offer a grant agreement to this municipality and okay. So you need more than just you?
Yeah, so they use a specific process for, there's a specific program they use to process this grant application. Really they need, I think they ask that 2 different people be named to the same role, just so that there's redundancy in case, someone, I think in some towns it's, let's say if you have a town where there's where they appoint 2 select board members, if one select board member either resigns or leaves office, that way that there's another one to complete the grant project authorized. So I would probably ask that besides myself, I name another member of the select board probably to
Okay.
help. That's really just authorizing the program that we use to apply for.
Yeah,
And then the grant administrator part,
that should be you.
I don't know if that should be me, or it could possibly be, if we work closely with NRPC, it could be someone from NRPC, but I don't really know who that would be right now in terms of naming a specific person. But if we work with, I'm not sure if we can name that person later, or if we have to do it right now. If you want to do it for right now, it could be me, I guess, but
Well, it's hereby designated as a grant administrator, the person with the overall administrative responsibility for the municipal planning grant program activities related to the application. Yeah, I mean, yeah, unless you want to contact them and see if they got.
I have a feeling who I would work with. There's a person I've been talking to right now who I assume would be the person that I would be working with in the future, but I don't know if.
Is it just you that signs that?
No, there's a form for all of you to
there's,
sign it actually.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's on the second page, Steve.
Okay.
So you can sign it, and then you can find out those details and then submit the grant.
Right. So,
Good.
so I think they would like to be formal about it. I think there should be a motion to
Okay.
adopt that
We
resolution.
have a municipal resolution for a municipal planning grant that needs to be authorized here. Do I have a motion to accept this?
Yeah, I'll move, I'll do it.
Second on that?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Alright.
sign that.
Pen action. A lot of pen action.
You got some pen action here.
Oh,
It's for you.
well. Glasses and everything.
There you go. Some good stuff in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alright, any other business we need?
Well, there's my employment review.
That's exactly.
Yeah, that's gotta go to the
But
executive.
otherwise, I think we've got through everything.
Alright, I will take a motion to go into executive to do our annual evaluation of our town administrator, and then after that, we will come out of executive and adjourn for the evening.
I'll make a motion to enter executive session and adjourn our regular meeting once we exit executive.
Alright, you have a second on that?
Yep, second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Opposed? Alright,